Trump just hit India with a 50% tariff, which is now the highest rate that he's charging any country in the world. But why blow up a trade deal with a country that could be America's best alternative to China? This new tariff is meant to go in effect in 21 days and is meant to punish India because they buy Russian oil and, quote, don't care about how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. That's real rich, coming from a guy who spent months cozying up to Putin and pressuring Ukraine to accept a peace plan that would have legitimized Russia's land grabs and imperialist ambitions. So what's really going on here? Well, many analysts are saying what Trump really wants from India is similar to the deals that he got from trading partners in Asia like Japan and Indonesia. Flashy headlines about slashing deficits, securing mega infrastructure investments, and prying open foreign markets for American goods. And one of those key markets? Agriculture. But that is a red line for India. So why is India so sensitive about its farming? Well, India is the world's most populous country, which means it has the most mouths to feed. And that could be a huge opportunity for foreign agribusiness. But exposing Indian farmers to pro-corporate agricultural reforms is an incredibly explosive political issue in India. And the last time India tried these kinds of reforms, it prompted the historic farmers' protests of 2020 to 2021, which became the largest protest movement in world history. These protests were the only time that India's incredibly popular Prime Minister Narendra Modi was forced to walk back reforms that he had endorsed. And now farm unions have made it very clear to Modi and his administration that if they cave to American pressure, they will rebel once again. And they have good reason to protest. You see, the pressures that Indian farmers face are already immense. I made a documentary back in 2022 called Why India's Farm System is Failing, which I'll link to in this post, that highlights the fact that on average, about 10,000 Indian farmers take their own lives each year, largely because of the financial pressures that are placed upon them. That's why India had promised protesting farmers and farm unions more price floor subsidies when they negotiated an end to the historic farm protests. But the subsidies that would make family farming more sustainable in India is not something that Western nations will tolerate. In fact, they've accused India of over-subsidizing its farmers for decades. And these subsidies are a prime example of the, quote, obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers that Trump accused India of in a Truth Social post that came out just a week before he implemented these latest tariffs. But many Indian analysts are quick to point out the hypocrisy that the American arguments are predicated on, citing that on a per-farmer basis, the subsidies that America gives its farmers are way higher than the subsidies that the average Indian farmer gets. So is India fighting America because they want to stand up for the little guy? Well, I'm highly skeptical of that argument. And the reason I say that is because even without these trade deals, we're seeing at the local level, governments in India are pushing to shape agriculture in a way that moves it away from family farming towards a model that works for big agribusiness. For example, a new controversial land pooling policy in Punjab, which is the heartland of the farmers' protests, is forcing smallholders to give up land in exchange for urban housing, which is a clear step of moving families off of their ancestral lands and way of life and into the urban industrial labor force. This shift aligns with the broader global agenda of dismantling family farms across the world in favor of a corporate industrial model, which is considered the standard of development by the US and other Western and settler colonial states that were the ones who wrote the rules of global trade and development. So while Trump is accusing India for a soft spot for Russian oil, it's clear that his 50% tariff is more about leverage. He wants to pressure India to give up protections for its farmers so that American agribusiness can profit and reduce the US trade deficit at the expense of family farmers abroad. For now, India's politicians are unwilling to cross their own farmers because they're scared of the domestic political consequences if they accept America's deal. But how long can all of this last? Guys, if you appreciated my analysis of this news, Please give me a follow on Patreon, which is in my link in bio, and subscribe. You can subscribe for free or as little as $1 a month. So if you appreciate the work I'm doing and you want me to be able to keep bringing you this kind of analysis on the news about issues that matter to diasporas, definitely give me a subscribe, and I really thank you all for your support. I'll see you guys on the next one.